Hi, my name is Cecelia Roberts. I am with the Congregational Church of South Dartmouth in South Dartmouth, Massachusetts. No, it's my second.
Okay.
I was here 4 years ago. I was supposed to come back last year, but some health issues prevented me from doing that. But this is my second time here. Our church is third time. Well, our pastor has been here a number of times in the past with other churches, and when she came to our church, she offered an adult mission trip. My family's been at our church for over 20 years, and they had youth mission trips every 4 years, but they never offered an adult option. And I never went on a youth mission trip as a kid, so I thought, why not? And come see a different part of the country, and learn more about the issue. We do a lot of volunteering at home with homeless populations and food trucks and different things that go on in and around our greater area outside of Dartmouth. We border a city called New Bedford, and it's an urban area with typical urban issues. So we thought it would be good to come and see. Nice little trip away. Besides, the Gulf Coast is beautiful. We see the Gulf Coast from the west coast of Florida, but had never seen it from the north side before. So it was a good opportunity to see what other places are doing, to see if we could also bring back some ideas about how things work here. Why reinvent the wheel? Actually, it was a rather difficult situation the first night we arrived back here 4 years ago, because there had been a fatal shooting around the corner. So our first introduction was like, oh my, and there were police all over with their rifles, and it was a little alarming, let's say. But once we got in here, we were okay. The area it does remind me a bit of home in some parts of our greater area. But then, of course, the beautiful coastline. I mean, we have a lot of coast where we are, but it's different. The trees are green here, but they're a different kind of tree. So it's different greens, and so it wasn't didn't feel so far away from home. And Back Bay Mission, I was impressed with the amount of service that happens right here. At that time, they had a food kitchen. They didn't call it that. I think they called it a cafe or a restaurant, and where we served people. And so that was a pretty interesting experience too. And just pretty amazed at the amount of service, the amount of people that come here to get that kind of service, and the support services that the Micah Center provides. I won't take responsibility for it, but in the meantime, we have since developed a food pantry at our church, so it was a good opportunity to be able to serve. Ours somewhat models this in the fact of choice. We don't just put whatever we have in a box. We give people choice, which, having worked there the first time, felt familiar, and it just seems the right thing to do. If you don't like a thing, why would you?
I feel like it makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
And it makes perfect sense. We don't know each other's preferences, dietary restrictions.
Right.
And if I'm not going to eat it and it gets wasted.
Right. What's the point?
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
But it's interesting when we have people they drive through, they get a list, and when we tell them they have a choice, they go, "Oh, we do?" We say, "Yep, you can take one of everything, or just what you need or what you like." So it's really kind of surprising to them. There is another food distribution that happens nearby, which is more controlled, but that's how they do it. But they also have fresh food. We don't have any fresh food yet, like here and the other opportunity has. So, I think that's one of the things that Pastor Emily encouraged us to do within the church. She's always wanted to start, and I'm pretty sure her experiences here helped her to push us along in that direction. And why to come back? Well, I missed coming back last year because we had helped an older man help do some rehab on his home, and wanted to see how he was. You know, like what happened in his life since. I didn't see that this year. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him, but other people did get to visit him, and he remembered us and, you know, talked about, you know, his experience with us, and so it was good to see that he was still thriving in his environment, and to see what else had gone on. You know, Katrina was a long time ago, and to think that people are still experiencing that is just incredible, you know. And every time you drive down the beach road, you think about the amount of water and what that must have been like for people to just see it coming up and not know. Who were we talking with? I can't remember. It was Todd. I think it was Todd, the construction person. And he was sitting with his dad, and they saw their church float by. Not just float, rush by in the river. It's like, I just can't imagine what that's like. I mean, you know, we have snow back home in the wintertime, so our hurricanes are blizzards perhaps, or nor'easters, nor'easters as they're called. And they're intense, but it stays in one spot. You know, it's not a moving thing. So although power lines can come down and things, generally, you know, once it's over, we clear it off. And, you know, we're fortunate. We have a roof over our head and heat in our homes and food on the table. So, you know, we deal with it and, you know, try not to complain because it's minor in comparison. You know, I do go to bed at night in the wintertime and think of the people that we serve off of our food truck at home, and I think, where are they? You know, how are they going to stay warm? And how do you feel when you're cold? I know that's a different feeling here. You know, 30s is cold, especially if you're not used to it. 30s back home is like mild, you know, compared to 20s and 10s that it can be. So, you know, although the issue of homelessness is different, the things that people experience pretty much the same, you know, in the elements of it all. And then dealing with the hurricane, even the other night, was it last night, when it rained the other night, it's like, where are people? Back home, people have bridges, right? There's the roadways are different, even in the city. It's not like Boston, it's not a huge city, but there are highways that go through, so there are places that people can go and parks that people can find shelter. There's a fort, you know, like a battle fort that was in part of the Revolution War, and so there are places that people find to stay warm and dry. And I thought around here, there aren't many highways, you know, so where that would provide that kind of shelter. Where do people go to stay dry or stay out of the sun? You know, you can't go to the beach. You think, well, go to the beach and stay cool. Well, the beach is wide open.
And the humidity, too.
And the humidity,
and
right.
You make a great point. You'll be in the woods trying to make it through the rainstorm, and the next day the sun comes up and it just 100 degrees, and the humidity is at 100, and you can't even dry off from the evening before because it's so humid.
Right. So being very hot or very cold, it's still that same thing. And how does that impact how you feel during the course of the day? You know, do you feel happy? You know, when you're cold, I'll relate it more to cold. Certainly we have had some higher temperatures this summer. But I think it's easier to stay cool than it is to stay warm. I think your body can adjust to, at least back home. Here, you know, it may be a little different being a stretch of time.
We hear from guests all the time that they'd rather stay outside because their body has started to get used to the heat as much as it can, and they don't want to go inside, get used to the air conditioning, and then they get kicked back out.
Right.
Because it's just a tease at that point.
Yeah.
Or even imagine the guests that they do have jobs, but maybe they're unsheltered right now. They come here to get a shower before work, and then they walk to work, and in that 20 minutes, it's like you might as well not even shower.
Right.
And it's very disheartening.
Yeah. I would say take the opportunity to go. Don't be afraid of what you are going to do or what you should do or how do I talk to people. Just talk to them like anybody else. Ask them how they are. Say hello. They have a great day, and get a sense that there are people who are looking for a kind word. We've passed by people sleeping or staying here for the day, and you get a smile. They're saying a smile can make someone's day, because you don't know what they're going through. So, take the chance, and just stand back if you don't feel comfortable participating, but just watch and see how that is and get comfortable, and then, find your comfort spot and do it. Simple as that.